Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of EPAM Systems, I'd like to welcome you on the talk, Fueling Innovation, Embracing a Product Mindset for Non-Product Heads. Thank you for coming today, and I wish you a pleasant journey. The agenda for today is rather tight, and in the end of the talk, there will be a Q&A session. One can say that the points indicated here seems to be not connected to each other, but in fact they are. My experience indicates that these aha moments usually happen in those areas, both for product and non-product people. Today's presentation is more about mindset rather than tools, so there won't be many technical slides. Instead, it aims to demonstrate that product management is intriguing and fun when you see things from a product-oriented perspective. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Roman Zatitskiy. I'm a product manager for EPAM and JAX product portfolio. And before EPAM, for 9 years, I was a product management consultant, product management, marketing, business development. I've discovered and launched 5 products on my own. Also, I founded 2 companies and sold them after that. And the cases throughout my consulting career were solved in the domains retail, e-commerce, B2B SaaS, fintech, hardware, and several others. And I'd like to start today's talk with a parable about 3 bricklayers. Christopher Wren observed 3 bricklayers on a scaffold. One crouched, one half standing, and one standing tall, really hard and fast. So he asked the first bricklayer, "What are you doing?" And the bricklayer replied, "I'm a bricklayer. I'm working hard laying bricks to feed my family." And he asked the second one, "What are you doing?" And the bricklayer responded, "I'm a builder. I'm building a wall." And the third one seemed to be the leader, answered on the question, "What are you doing?" He answers, "I'm a cathedral builder. I'm building a great cathedral to the Almighty." So why I started with all that? Because the mindset means. And today I'm going to return to that idea again and again. I'd like to introduce here several very successful people from the industrial era, from the times where rather product management even didn't exist. Ford, Nobel, Porsche, Marconi and Daimler, and Seisher Honda. What unites them all? They were all engineers who made a fortune on creating great products people bought. And I personally know a lot of talented engineers. Some of them even could be considered as genius, but underrated because they underestimate the importance of market demand and customer needs. They want to change the world, and they even can change the world, but they're getting angry with cutting their wings short that is made by business, on the business side. So if you want to change the world, you have to reach the market. You have to reach the people. And that's the reason to make your product a product and care not only about engineering excellence, but also the business side, how to reach a wide range of people on a global scale. Do the things that bring value and can be monetized. And here comes the first section of the talk. What is value-oriented thinking? Bridging the gap between product managers and tech teams. I'd like to start this from asking, first of all, who of you, are there product managers among you? Could you please raise hands? So this is like for non-product, so thank you very much. And who have any ideas of what exact product managers, because who have any ideas what the product managers do? What is their function? What is their job? Yeah, you can say.
Yeah, basically, it's a kind of merging role between development, marketing, sales actually getting paid for the product that's being developed?
Thank you very much. Other ideas?
Project manager is meaning
Product.
Product manager is for like success of the product. So he's doing everything to make product success.
Everything, including coding?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But I know some people that is coding even if
and product managers,
yes.
like techie heads,
yes,
right?
Because no one else wants to do it, so he just jumps in and do it because he's responsible for the product and he is losing the money.
I know these guys too. Yeah, you say?
I think product manager is something like who can connect different assets. And when I'm saying assets, I mean he knows who will create the product and how it will be delivered to the client. That's how I understand this means product manager. It's something like he can connect different, basically who will create project or product and who will buy the project.
Yeah. So they're like businessmen as well. And the last one, okay, because we have schedule, unfortunately.
So I think CEO is the main role of the company, and product manager is like a mini CEO for the product. Yeah. And the main thing product manager does is to just make decisions. That's the main thing because, like, you have a product, and every decision about the product manager is the main person to make.
Yeah.
So I would say product manager is a decision maker.
Founder in residence.
Yeah, actually they are. Sometimes from startups to corporate, sometimes they are founder in residence, they are just founders, they are product managers. Guys, thank you very much. You're all right because product management is it's not maths. There is no right or wrong answers because there are more applicable answers and less applicable. The thing that you say is just brilliant. Thank you for your ideas. And how do you think? Did you notice that sometimes there's a bit of slightly misunderstanding between product managers and techie heads? Who experienced misunderstanding? Oh, little of you only. So everyone is fine with that because I have experienced that. Because sometimes developers think that this guy is totally wrong and has weird motivation for his decisions. The matter is that actually product managers and engineers have different approach and focus. So I'd like to compare here feature-oriented approach with a value-oriented approach. As for feature-oriented approach, the main focus is on innovative technical solutions and creating technical excellence and attention to technical details, while the value-oriented approach is a customer value. It goes first the market needs that are reasonable and the revenue generation, which is one of the main pillars, revenue and profits. So, what I really want to say is no need to anticipate this. We have to unite efforts and understand each other because we all do common thing. Actually, we work for one thing. Because actually we are all building and doing it for the customers, for the end users. And here, at this point, as I've already warned, probably, that today I'm going to be say some of things that are maybe obvious, especially to product managers, because I think that you all know this concept. This illustrates that even if the customers think they are buying some features or characteristics of the product, in fact, they really want to get their job, their needs met, their jobs done, to get the job done, and they hire the product for it. A little warm up here. How do you think? Is we're talking about jobs and these products throughout the time. What was the big job that they are made for? Why the customers hire these products? Any idea?
Have fun.
Listen to music. Actually, yeah. Have fun listening to music. Yeah. It was pretty. Yeah. Thank you. Great. So, although the time passes and the job remains the same, but the products are different. We can see here that tools vary, but job remains the same. 100 years passed, they are still standing at the same wall, really news. Million years passed, they needed a home, and they need a home to make a family. So to summarize this part, the product should create the value. It should be desirable for the customers to hire it for their jobs to be done. The second part is about how business value connects to product metrics and impacts customers in the long run. Because value, as we were talking about, which we were talking in the first section, is a term. This term is rather big. It cannot be measured. But we, as tech heads, we like things to be measured, and business value can and should be measured. So let's define how. Every feature built should be built for some reason, and the reason is value. And the value can be measured, as I said, and measured by means of product metrics. So these are the metrics, is the thing that should be measured. When we talk about metrics, we should define that. There are product-specific metrics such as, like, say, churn rate or retention rate or daily active users or conversions within the product. So they are specific, like low-end product-level metrics. And there are high-level company metrics like profits, like revenue, and all other things that are can be usually measured, which means to the business, and it's usually measured in euros, these kind of metrics. And some magic is going to happen there, on the department level, between product and company level. And for that reason, we have a tool called the metric hierarchy, or the metrics graph that reveals the value relationship between an influence of low-level metrics on high-level metrics, on the money of the company and of the profits that the company gains. And of course on valuation, if we're talking about startups or public companies. One of the main things that I would like to speak today also is is about product process in the company itself. One of the core pillars is the process of product discovery. I would like to reveal why should it be done alongside product delivery, which we are all, like developers, focused on. This is the diagram from Stephen Blank's book, Customer Development, that was written in early 20th century, 2005. It shows customer stages in time and maturity. So, there are stages of customer discovery, when it's tested through business model and validated with the customer, so we have some idea, business idea or hypothesis, we validate that through business, take a look at a business model, validate with customers, and if it works, then we stop searching and go to execution, or if it doesn't work, we fail, then we pivot and we make a new customer discovery. And execute is a company building. Yeah? It was made for startups, but basically it works. What I really love in this diagram, that it shows three core ideas simultaneously, because they really align. It's a customer development stages. The same is the product lifecycle stage. So if we substitute product instead of customer, we would have the same hierarchy here. So it will be like product discovery and product delivery. In discovery phase, we try to find the business model that works, the product that fits the customer needs. If it does, then we go to delivery and we build that product. If it doesn't, then we pivot and make attempts until we run out of money, or until we succeed. And the customers, the company's development stage, here would be a startup, because a startup is a temporary project for searching a business model that can be scaled. Once the business model is found, we go to execution and we go to company building. Customer development framework was created in early 21st century by Steve Blank and released in his book Customer Development in 2005, and was later updated with a lean approach by Eric Ries in his book in Lean Startup, which is like a Bible, is defined like a Bible of a startupper. table book. So customer development is based, it's focused on specific customer's pain. Usually it's one main pain, it's here, the customer, why the customer isn't happy. So the goal is to go deeper into the client's problem and become an expert in that problem, understand how to solve it, and to find the solution for that problem. What the main tool for searching these problems is interviewing potential customers. And once we found these customers' problems, the pains, we immediately check that with a solution, some simple solution like MVP. We'll talk about it later. Henry Ford said about the customer development, just a little bit of an off topic about, you know, some facts and fun about customer development. It's Henry Ford. He said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. He said that about his story with making a Ford T in the 1908. And later we will come back to this site, to this quotation and discover it. And because it happened 100 years ago, and lately, 100 years after that, in the beginning of 21st centuries, General Motors product managers, they repeated Ford's tools, enforced with customer development framework that I was talking about, and they asked Americans, what is the ideal automobile? To find out that it should look like this. They built Chrysler Cruiser. I couldn't say that, yeah, that's a victim of a customer development. I couldn't say that actually this is a total failure for General Motors, because at the same time they released Pontiac Aztek, which was the, you know, one of the probably one of the worst cars in history. But definitely this is not the ideal Chrysler. This is not the ideal American car, and even it's not the best among Chryslers of that years. So sometimes it fails. So here comes the comparison between customer development and jobs to be done. The jobs to be done framework focuses on the customer's jobs to hire product for instead of pains. And while the customer development goes deeper to the problems, the jobs to be done is raising beyond the problems to understand the critical jobs that has to be done and what the product will be hired for. According to this framework, we don't have to interview potential customers, but we have to interview only the customers who bought this, because, as Dr. House said, people lie. And the people who voted for them using their money, they don't lie, because they have already paid for that. So we have to interview the existing customers and ask them, okay, why did you buy that? What did you buy that for? Why did you pay that sum of money? And the solution should fix the problem in a completely new way and not like it was solved before using other products. So to compare these two approaches, you know, there are actually some families. If you were all product managers, you would be divided to two, you know, teams. One of them would be fans of customer development, the other would be the fans of jobs to be done, and you could even, after a couple of beers, you could even fight with each other for that. Sometimes it happens in the bars after conferences. But my idea is to focus on the task and not on the tool, because, as I said, all tools are good if they are applicable in the case. So Abraham Maslow said, if you only have a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail, right? So we don't, what I wanted to say that tools don't matter, tasks matter. If they are applicable, you can use any of them, if they help to get the jobs done. And here I would like to show the usual, this is the product discovery delivery cycle, which happens usually in corporations like that. So the main focus is usually on development. I say 65% on development and refinement. It is delivery space, and only 5% of effort is spent to market validation, alignment, research, and ideation. And as for my experience and the books that I've read actually, and what I've observed, the successful corporate products are developed like that, with a main focus on research and discovery, which is done simultaneously with delivery. it doesn't mean, so it's, it doesn't mean that development is not needed. It doesn't mean that development is underrated. We should just provide more attention answering the question what we are doing rather than just doing that. And this is about discovery. So we have to move with small iterations, releasing minimum changes. And here I would like to switch to the next part, an MVP. Who knows what is MVP? Oh, you intelligent people. You know a lot.
Most valuable product.
Most valuable product. No, maybe there are several suggestions, but I would like to say about minimum viable product. This is a clumsy scamper version of the real product or not. So I have here a photo of my friends, engineers, and they are trying to build a flying saucer. How do you think? Will that be a good product?
It may fly.
It may fly. What they are doing? They are making. Will it work? We don't know still because they are just building it from scratch. We don't know. So they are building a proof of concept. We start building some products, something new, something real world-changing with proof of concept because we have to understand will it work or not. Comparing the proof of concept and MVP, which I will define a little bit later. So the focus of proof of concept is checking the possibility of implementing that from the technical perspective and share experience within the team. So the proof of concept should not be shown on a fair or it not should be shown to the customers. And for the MVP, is checking attractiveness of that business, not just a technical solution, but a business idea and actually to sell it to customers. So will it meet the user's needs? There is a popular picture in the web about what can be an MVP of a car. Okay, what jobs, according to the things that I asked before, what jobs should be done by a person? What does the person hire the car for? To move from A to B, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, does this help?
Yes.
And this?
Obviously also.
Obviously also. But, okay, I also have a bicycle and a motorcycle, and I would say that I hire a motorcycle and a car for a little bit slightly different things, because car is not only to get from A to B. You can use a bus or a train or a motorcycle, yes. For that reason, that is a good MVP. But if we are talking about developing a new car, I think that probably you want to ride on 4 wheels, not on 2, to balance on 2 wheels. And probably you want to sit inside, not outside in the rain, like on a motorcycle. And probably you want to take some, your kids with you and some luggage. So will that be a good MVP for that needs? Probably not.
5 different products.
Yes, 5 different products, yeah. But from this point of view, this is a good MVP because although it doesn't look pretty, and maybe it's made out of straw, but it has 4 wheels, you sit inside and you go from A to B and you can carry, maybe not children because it's maybe dangerous, because it's minimal, but you can, carry someone with you, take someone and take some, things with you and go inside. So that's it. Getting back to our friends engineers, they have already worked hard and tested that concept, and it flies. And now they are bringing, I've showed them these slides, and I showed that that was not enough. Because this is, they can get inside and fly inside this flying saucer, and they are building a full-scale MVP, which delivers, can carry people inside and fly from A to B. How do you think? Is it a good product? Now.
If it solves the problem.
What? Who thinks that is a good product? Raise your hands.
Does it have customers?
I don't know.
You can say it.
Not enough information. Who thinks it is a bad product?
It's just a picture.
We don't
It's a
know
mid-journey
it.
picture.
It's a mushroom.
In fact, I don't know how it works. I don't
It
know.
was not tested.
Probably, yeah. We don't have enough information by now. Probably is big enough. The only thing that we can observe is that I told you that the prototype flight and people can, it's big enough to carry people. But is is a good product, we don't know. Okay, getting back to some theory, a good offer is maximum value for less money. A good MVP is maximum value for less features and less development. So when we're talking about selling a raw product to the customers, we need to create an MVP customers would buy because they want it and they would love it. So this is done to introduce the concept of a minimum lovable product. It's not just a coffee, but yeah, it's coffee. So you have to not only have the effort of engineers or product managers, but you could also put marketers and designers hat on and make it with love. So getting back to our engineers, they met the designer, made it with love. They talked to marketers, and they got a lot of budget to build this first commercial version with a fancy design, windows, seats, and it looks fancy. So how do you think, will it be a good product by now?
Still not sure.
Not enough information. Okay, you never know. You're right. You never know until you build it and sell it, right?
Yeah.
But do we have to invest a lot of money and effort to check whether one or another feature works? Do you remember Chrysler Cruiser? They built the product and according to customers' requirements and needs, but it failed. So the next thing to discuss is how to run experiments without having a product, without building a product, and to understand will they buy it or not. It's about hypothesis. And I would start to start this section with that. This is a correlation between two diagrams on one famous company. This is the annual revenue every year, and this is something that happens every day from year to year. How do you think? What is it? And a question with a dot. What is the company I'm talking about? You all know that. Any ideas? What is that? Okay, don't guess the company. What is that?
Number of experiments?
Yeah. Are you product manager?
Kinda.
Huh? Kinda. Okay. Okay. This is number of experiments held every day in Amazon.com. And Bezos said, our success in Amazon is a function of how many experiments we do per year, per month, per week, per day. So in terms of amazing correlation of product experiments help to understand that this is one of the reasons of their growth, so fast growth. And the market demand, of course.
Premium subscription cancellation was also experienced, right?
I don't know the details. I just
Just cancel it.
I can't cancel it. I didn't subscribe. So, hypothesis, getting back to theory. It is a risky assumption aiming to impact product value and performance with certain measurable metrics that can be approved or discarded. The main points here is the risky assumption, because if you're pretty sure that something will happen, it's not hypothesis because you're pretty sure that it will happen. You don't have to test it. And the other important thing is metrics and approved or discarded. So you have to, what is the difference between idea and hypothesis? Is that idea deal with mental assumptions and thought experiments, and hypothesis deal with metrics collected during the real experiments. And process of hypothesis testing should be based only on facts and not opinions. There are several types of hypothesis. It's value hypothesis, problem hypothesis, technology hypothesis, MVP hypothesis, and growth hypothesis. Actually, there are lots more, but these are the main. So when we were talking about Amazon, they are mainly focused on growth hypothesis. Of course, it's about how to increase the sales and to increase the metrics of each level of the sales funnel. Hypothesis can be formulated on like if something then like if we decrease prices, then the conversion rates raises by 3%. And complex hypothesis could be and should be decomposed to atomic ones and then tested one by one. So tested during the experiments. And when we are talking about experiments criteria, They should be cheap, fast, and simple. Very fast. Simple, it means that they should be done within the team of 1 or maybe 2 members, because otherwise the whole company is going to work on product experiments. And it should be, if we're talking about growth hypothesis, it should be statistically significant, but when we're talking about discovery, it's mainly, this is not obligatory if we're talking about discovery phase. And so, experiment design. What to do if you don't have a product yet? If you don't have a product, and the product could be decomposed to several prototypes, then without building the product, you can mock its functionality using these simple tools. It's not limited to, but just usually there are enough, like phone calls, for pen and pencil and handbook, emails, messengers, like simple bots, like Telegram or WhatsApp bots, blog posts, landing pages, nothing, no, there is no coding here, actually. Everything could be done with, simple tools like, yeah?
Could you give an example of functionality?
Yeah, for sure. Of a phone call?
Yeah.
For interviewing or for, instead of doing a form, if you are testing something that could be, answered by a form, it could be easier to call someone and speak to them, or send a message. Instead of doing some forms, some tools for mobile applications, or changing the website, especially in the corporate world, where every change in the prod takes you have to even for a small change you have to persuade the product owners and the stakeholders to move it through a backlog to the next release, and you have to it will happen for one experiment. It could take you like 3 months only for one small.
Can you just take me through how do you validate a form through the phone call?
It's not always for a form. It's not always for a phone. Phone calls can be for other things, for interviewing customers, because you can interview them like they try to use the product, or if you cannot make changes, you can just call someone and ask what you want, A or B, like that. Or interviewing as well. So later we can discuss after the conversation, after the talk. So if it cannot be done, if you don't have a product and you cannot split it to several prototypes, and you cannot do this, then you can just simply generate leads for your competitors because they have the product, and understand what is valued by the customers and what is not. Pablo Picasso said, "Un artista copia, un gran artista roba." Sorry, I don't speak Spanish, but he spoke. So while I'm referring this, there could be a contradiction, because if I say, if we try to be inspired by the competitors' features, how can we become better? How can we make a unique competitive advantage? There's some kind of a contradiction, but if we just copy, we cannot become better. But if we inspire, and the thing is that competitors are usually not the ones that are seen from the first sight, from the first glance. And later I will show what could be the competitors that to search for, to inspire from. So if we started to talk about composition, we should look beyond the traditional understanding of who they are. And getting back to Henry Ford, who said that about the horses, the faster horses. How do you think, when he said that before launching Ford T in 1908, how many competitors did he have? Any ideas? Zero? Any other ideas?
Those who sold horses.
Those who sold horses. Any other? Did he have competitors? No, trains is totally different.
Like transportation.
Yeah, like cars.
Cars, a lot of cars, even electric cars.
Electric cars,
transports people.
How many do you think how many car brands were there when he launched this, when he said that?
Less than
10,000.
I think more.
20, 30.
Pretty far.
250. 250 competitors he had when he launched his 4T. Well, actually but nevertheless, he had 250 competitors. He was not competing with them. He was competing with horses. You were right, zero competition, because the market was growing actually. So the main competitor was still the horse. And here I'd like to say that back to competition, that there are actually 4 domains of competition that I would like to pay attention for. And we were, there was a guy, a Harvard professor, Theodore Levitt, and he said people don't want to buy a drill. And I think you all know that. They want to buy a hole in a wall. But I would say, from the from the jobs to be done perspective, that they actually also don't buy a hole. They buy a painting that is hanging on the wall, right? Yeah. So let's try to understand what are the analogs. First domain is analogs. So it's similar products that can be used instead of each other, and they have the same way of solving the customer's job. So in terms of drilling a hole, the analogs are drills of competitive brands. Yeah, I think I see. Of competitive brands. I just, I'm almost running over. Yeah. Analogs are drills of other brands. And the second domain is substitutes. It's the products that work totally different, but solve the same problem. It's like horses and automobiles, right? And in terms of drilling, it could be some other tools that can make a hole in the wall, or maybe even calling a service person who will come and drill, or even, if we're talking about hanging a painting, it is like sticky hangers that we don't need any holes, we can just use the sticky hangers to hang the painting. The next one would be squeezers. Squeezing, it's about products that do not do the same jobs, but the clients can spend their money for it instead of having enough money for our product. In terms of drilling the hanger and wall, how do you think, who are the squeezers?
Honestly, those.
Huh?
Posters.
Posters, yeah, and other? Windows. I think that the main squeezer is don't give a damn on this painting and go to the bar to have a beer.
Yeah.
And spend the money there instead of buying a drill.
It is easy.
Yeah, but actually there are lots of squeezers. There are lots of things that then our customer can pay money for instead of buying our products, or even solving their problem actually. And the last one is channel competitors, the most non-obvious, but because, okay, if we get back to our, so it's the products that are sold in the same channel, like Facebook ads, say, but have much higher customer acquisition costs. So they buy out all the traffic. In terms of our guy who's handing the painting, probably he is Googling something for making house repair, and probably the guys who make the targeted ads, they think, okay, this guy is in new company, he got a new house, maybe he needs something more expensive than just a drill, like, a new jacuzzi, or, windows, which are much more expensive, and they buy out all the traffic for that, and so we cannot afford ourselves to sell it, okay? So that's it. We're running out of time because I wanted to have a warm-up to brainstorm some competitors for English courses in Minecraft, but we can do it later on a workshop. I will explain where exactly we will do that, where and when in the end. So, okay, now what? A couple of words on how embracing a product mindset can empower tech heads to thrive. I'd like to conclude this evening turning back to history, and there are two great minds that probably invented the most, that made the most inventions per capita in the whole human history. How do you think, who was the better inventor? Edison or Tesla?
Tesla, since he would drive his cars now.
Oh, yeah. He helped Elon Musk a lot.
Yeah, he has better marketing campaign from that.
But 68 years after he died.
Edison has had many patents.
Huh?
A lot of patents had Edison.
Edison had actually, I always liked Tesla more because he was, in terms of engineering and inventionship, and his approach to engineering, he was much better engineer, an inventor, and a scientist. But he died in poverty and debts alone in a hotel, while Edison passed away when he was the owner of a corporation, Edison, which became the pillar of General Electric right now. So, although product managers didn't exist 100 years ago, but if they would be, Edison would be a much better product manager than Tesla. But Tesla is a great engineer. About the horses and the cars, William Gibson said the future is already here, but it's not distributed evenly. So who are the people who help to distribute that? Innovators. Getting back to one of the first slide about product managers, who is the product manager? He's a micro-entrepreneur, and the product managers are the people that innovate. And all the great minds I mentioned in the talk in the beginning, do you remember these engineers of industrial era who made a fortune? They were all engineers first, but with a business mindset. Nowadays, they would be all great product managers. I intentionally didn't mention the product-oriented minds like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Steve Jobs, because it would be too obvious to mention. So my key thought is that although all the engineers are great talents here, and the product mindset could be that booster that skyrockets you all to the moon. But finally, any skill, like product mindset is a skill, it should be trained, and it can be trained only by doing. I would like to announce that in September, we will start a series of workshops on product mindset, and there we will do things that I was talking about today. And so stay tuned. Scan the QR code and subscribe to the Pumps Product community. Follow me on LinkedIn and keep in touch. Thank you, everyone. Now goes the Q&A session. Thank you very much for your well applause. Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
So, I'm an engineer. I hate method.
So
metrics
why?
in my company show that our team is kind of useless and should not exist. What should I do?
No, maybe come to work for EPUB systems. No. It's seriously. We don't do that.
You don't
seriously, I think that is a very specific question because I have to dive into. There's no general answer to this question because I have to dive into your specific situation, and I'm pretty sure that we're talking about various metrics, not product specific. This is my first point. Second, KPIs, which you're referring, are probably should be and will be substituted with OKRs, and in your company they will be as well. But if you don't like that, maybe you have to change the company to the better one.
Oh, maybe one more answer.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just need to find opportunities. Because if the metrics are bad, maybe there is something, there is an opportunity for you to improve something.
Yeah, because this is a complicated question actually, because we have to dive into. We can speak about that after the talk, after the Q&A session. Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
So regarding the most, I already forgot what V meant in your presentation, but it's valuable. For me, after the 6 years, it's already valuable, while it's viable, lovable, and something else.
Yeah.
When will people, I don't know, except for product manager, will start using valuable? Since from design thinking perspective, I'm a UXer and a product manager and a marketing specialist all in one. So I've been very keen on with the valuable approach that you showed, but still mistakes also.
Oh, thank you. We can check it out. We can check it out later. Okay?
Yeah.
Go
And
through.
That's it?
one more question. What about the design thinking? Since you mentioned the customer creation, jobs to be done, it's already the UX part, and then also the iterative part of the design thinking approach with empathy, define, iterate. So how?
I think that, as I said, all tools are applicable in the right time and right place. As for my personal experience, I didn't use that, so I cannot speak much about that, fortunately. Maybe it's a mistake, maybe I should have used it.
I just wanted to point out, I expected that you would say that, but it's not that different, because the designers, the UX designers and the product manager combines the marketing, sales, developers, etc. And the most problematic way of communicating is not with developers, but also with designers. So the UX mindset, the design thinking can be actually jobs to be done as a part of the UX mindset. So currently what I'm experiencing in my company is switch to the user experience, to human experience and to value. And that's what actually is lagging, since value is not that marketed a lot. And if you start at least from your side stating that it's valuable, not viable, at least more people will think of it from another perspective.
Gotcha.
More of a marketing program.
What's your name?
Vladislav.
Vladislav. Nice. I think this is the candidate number one for the LinkedIn, for our small prizes. Yeah, you're totally right, and I probably should learn.
So we have 5 minutes for questions left.
Okay. I continue?
Yeah, I want to reference it to viable versus valuable. I think viable is used because it's also about money. If it brings value for the customer, it doesn't mean it brings value to the business, right? So it should be viable because it will die if it will bring only value to the user. It's a product because it fits customer needs and business needs.
Yeah.
So we could double V there.
That's why I mentioned valuable for the business and customer.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next question. This is discussion.
Okay.
Let's go to question.
Sorry.
Next, my question would be, what is the, you said about real MVP, difference between value and features. In my opinion, like, features are going close with value, right? So the more features you bring, the more value you can deliver.
Yeah.
It's not like the same, if not equal, but could you please bring the
Yeah, I'm searching for that slide, and I will try to, I'm not...
45.
Yeah, 50, this one.
No?
No?
No.
The comparison
It's a
of features
pyramids.
and triangles.
Terrible, bad, okay, real MVP.
4 triangles.
The pyramids.
Ah, the pyramids. Yeah, thank you. Oh, you're just so good. Editors, no.
45.
Okay.
Slide.
45. Here we go, almost. Because I don't see the numbers. I don't see the numbers here, unfortunately. For that reason, I'm searching for, Yeah. This one. Okay, could you please hold on?
So
Go on.
value versus features. Like,
Here I was referring to, because, I don't know what's your experience, but my experience working with teams and coaching product teams is when even guys who call themselves product owners that were raised from tech heads, they think about engineering excellence and about the features themselves that are not connected to value that is brought to the customer. Really, believe me, 70% of all development that has been done, according to what I've seen, I'm not referring to EPAM, of course, because to my previous companies that I worked for and the clients, EPAM is brilliant in that stage, is that they create features for features.
but could you bring an example, like one versus another? I mean, like, if features are not needed, they could be like just simply killed. Like, you don't need to do features which are not valuable, right? So there could be. So you're saying that there could be valuable feature and not valuable feature.
Okay, I will one simple experience from my it's not no, I don't. I have to think about your question, but the thing that comes to my mind first is what is valuable for the clients. When I had my own company. bicycle, electric bicycle. I had lots of friends from the bicycle sports teams, and they were caring about what kind of deriders, what kind of what brands and levels of the equipment is used for that. And because I mostly spoke with them, I thought that it is valuable, and I spent money for that features that were, from my point of view and their point of view, were valuable. But they were not my customers, but my customers didn't give a damn on it.
So we just simply associate the amount of effort that we put with the value.
Yeah, yeah.
But they don't correlate.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we work hard and it gives that much value as we work for it. Yeah.
Yes.
So we don't evaluate features, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So